Hello everyone, it is the 6th of April 2024. It's in the afternoon. It's another chilly, cool day. It's been a chilly, wet spring so far. The main thing I have to do today is to wait the 24 hours for that sealer to finish curing. That's another hour and a half from now. It's about quarter to 4 right now. I got to wait till 5:15. Then I've got my coolant sitting here that I saved with another gallon that I bought to make up for anything I lost. I've already finished putting everything else on top of the engine that I didn't finish last night. Have the ignition system back in place, carburetor linkage, all that stuff. So it's ready to go. And I just received this rebuild kit here from Mark II Enterprises. This is for my 3-port fuel pump. That 3-port fuel pump is probably the last major item that I'm planning on doing mechanically on the car for a while. I expect after I solve these water leak issues, which they should be taken care of now, I should be able to drive the car pretty much whenever I want to. Next up, after I get it running and I'm satisfied with it and there's no more clunking coming from the front end, next up will be the front end alignment, which I hope will happen next week, and also the tire install. And then after that, I should just be able to enjoy it and do what I want as far as future projects. One of them that I still want to get done relatively soon is replacing that left rear door, just because I want to recycle all the metal that I've been accumulating, and I want to get that out of the way, free up some space in my shed. So like I said, right now, one other thing that I couldn't resist, let me close the hood here. I couldn't resist. I put on the hood here, I'll flip this around. I placed on the hood here a hood ornament from an earlier Lincoln. This is not the spring style that belongs in this car, and it's not quite lined up perfectly, but it is a hood ornament. I mean, I can't drive a 60s Lincoln, at least before 1968, that was supposed to have a hood ornament, without it. It just, it gives me something to aim at when I'm running down the road, right? I always love those hood ornaments. Having trouble finding the spring-loaded one because I only made it for 1 year. Yeah, I could spend like $200 and get a reproduction or a really good used one, but still keeping my eyes out for a better deal, because I have the base and the spring. I just need the star itself. So anyway, almost ready to get the coolant back in there. Other things I'm doing while I'm waiting is I'm just cleaning up the interior again, just getting everything out of here. There's no need to store anything in here anymore, and I'll vacuum and clean it up a little bit for my test drive that I anticipate a little later this afternoon. I should have mentioned regarding that hood ornament, I didn't buy that. It was already with the car. It was in the glove compartment. Otherwise, I would not have that there. I tell you, waiting the full 24 hours is probably the hardest part of this whole process. I'm just taking another peek here, make sure I got everything in place. I think everything is set up and ready to start. I also finished cleaning up the interior as best I can anyway. It looks pretty good. One thing I discovered is that when I vacuumed the front again, found a wet spot right here, which I wasn't happy about. I don't know if that's left over from last year and I just never completely got it dried out, or if that's something new. So I thought I better leave the floor mat out of there and let it air out. So open the windows for that. But got my other car out of the way so I can back this out when I get it started here in about half an hour or so. I'm almost there. Can't wait to drive this thing. Oh yeah, there was another reason I wanted to do a quick update here. I discovered that my washer bag, my brand new washer bag over there, sprung a leak. And I don't think it's because I stepped on it accidentally or hit it with the intake manifold. It busted the seam at the very bottom down there, just leaked right out. So I took a picture of it leaking and sent it into the seller on eBay, and I hope they have some kind of exchange or refund program or something. I need to get another one. Otherwise, I need to learn how to patch that up. I'm sure it's probably repairable, but I did just buy it, and I spent a lot of money on it, so I'd like it to be exchanged. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, there was something else I keep forgetting about. This is a shout out to Brian. He threatened me to deduct points if I didn't hide that choke wire, that red one, one that supplies positive. So I found a piece of a conduit here I could use. So got those wires kind of hidden part of the way, and there's still some over there, but it's not as obvious. So hopefully I'll get partial credit for that. All right, now it's time for the nerve-wracking part. I have filled up about 3.5 gallons of coolant that I recovered. It's enough to run the test anyway, so I'm going to start the engine up now, let it warm up, and we'll see how she does. Sure hope it works. As soon as it's warmed up and I've determined that it's not leaking, I will take her for a test drive. One thing I wanted to point out while I've got it warming up here, that engine is completely quiet. I hear no valve tapping at all, no tappets at all, and that's just fantastic. That really makes me feel good about that, about the work I did with the lifters. So she hasn't warmed up enough yet to know if there's going to be any water leaks yet or not, but she's running. But I'm really, really pleased with how quiet it is. It's really quiet. That's just awesome. I really like that quiet engine. It'll be even quieter when I put the air conditioner on. That'll stay off until I double check all the water connections. Oh boy, and I see a leak already. Man, it didn't leak here the last time. I'm leaking at the tank right there. So, already got one failure. So I find that really ironic that I have a leak there, because I did not have a leak there the last time, and now I do. So that I tell you what, these water leaks are just killing me. So I have a second gasket. I've done this before. I'm just going to take that loose before it sets and ruins this gasket, and just put a second one on there. That seals it up. No test drive yet. As I wait for that radiator to drain a little bit now so I can get that tank off and try again on that end. On a more positive note, there's no indication of any leakage here at the intake manifold, nor at the plug, the freeze plug, the expandable freeze plug. So I consider those wins. The engine running as quietly as it did is a big win, and I'm very annoyed by that stupid leak over there, especially since it wasn't leaking the last time. That's what really kills me. That just blows me away. But anyway, that's the way it is with these cars sometimes. All right, I'm wrapping things up for the day. This has been very, very ironic for me. I fixed 2 leaks that were leaking before. I think I did anyway, the intake manifold and that freeze plug. Let me just look at something real quick. Yeah, okay. Anyway, where I didn't expect to have a leak was right there at that darn connection between the, the intake manifold and that fill tank there. And those are always prone to leak. The irony of it all is that the first time I pulled the intake manifold off, I didn't detach that tank, and I didn't have a leak when I put it back on, of course. This time I decided to follow the shop manual recommendation, which is to remove the tank first and then pull the intake manifold. And I felt better doing that, because I thought it was kind of risky. Even though it worked, I thought it was kind of risky the way I did it, just because, I could have gotten the thing hooked somewhere, caused some damage or whatever. So that's why I took it off. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be dealing with this leak right now. So what I've done, what I also found interesting, is that I used the same gray gasket material, this ultra gray, on the intake manifold, and I used the same stuff there at that water connection for the tank, and it leaked. So what I did is I went back to what I used before, which is this stuff, the super high-tech gasket sealant. It's kind of baby shit looking color. Pardon my my language there. But it worked. And I also put a second gasket in there. I've done that many times in the past, because these things always seem to leak. So 2 gaskets and plenty of that sealant, and that should seal it up good. Unfortunately, I have to let it cure for 3 hours. So, and I haven't tightened it all the way down yet either. You're just supposed to snug it up, wait 3 hours before you do the final assembly, and then I'm done. So that means tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning sometime, I will tighten those bolts down, fill it up with water again, and try it another time. So like I said earlier, I think the other leaks that I had are done and taken care of, and I'm really happy with the way the engine sounded when it was running. Very quiet. I mean, I'm just thrilled about that. So in spite of the setback here, the overall positives outweigh it. So I just have to continue to be patient. I was really hoping to drive this thing tonight, but almost. Have a good evening.